What insult have your parents said that is stuck in your head as an adult? Half man half mattress my old man when I wouldn't get out of bed. Edit. For those asking, he was being amazing and funny. 1990, I was 16 and had to get up at 4:30 for work. He got me up and out the door every morning. A nice wee story. You can't even laugh right. My mom in a weird moment I thought we were bonding. There's something inherently extra evil when someone tells you your joy is wrong. Not a parent but a grandparent. I was adopted when I was 12 years old. My parents were both drug addicts, so I was in and out of foster care most of my life. My adopted mother's father turned to me on Christmas Eve when no one else was around, said, "My daughter should have never adopted you. She should have let you stay on the streets where you belong." He got nicer as he got older and sicker, but I couldn't find it in myself to forget what he said even almost 10 years later. Went to the funeral for moral support but was indifferent about his passing. What did I do to deserve a fat kid? Extra ridiculous considering that even if you were fat, you were a kid. Who controls what kids eat? Their parents. My little brother was drowning. I tried to save him but also almost drowned. We got rescued by a neighbor. My mom told me that they should have left me in the pond. I haven't spoken to her in many years. Like a half a century ago. My mother and I were talking and the topic of someone's eye color came up. I forget who. I sincerely asked, "What color are my eyes?" "They are sort of a gray-green." She looked at them closely and told me, "Sort of a shit brindle." I still bring that up from time to time. Mom was talking to Dad about me while I was right there. I was bullied in high school and it had an effect on my grades. While discussing my education she said, "Look at him. Can't you see there's nothing in there? Just look at how he sits there. He can't do this. He's not capable of more. This is it. He's nothing." It gave me a drive and motivation. It also gave me a constant need to prove myself. Edit. I never imagined this to get so much replies. For the people wondering, this happened almost 20 years ago and I have now found peace with what she said. My mom has a lot of mental issues but she tries her best. She's made a lot of progress and is still working on battling her inner demons. And in the end, she has since done a lot more good than bad to me. I will never forget what she said but I no longer hold it against her. People shouldn't always be reduced to their worst moment. "You're so annoying," said to me as a young kid while I was expressing enthusiasm over some new interest. Later my father complains I never tell him anything. I sometimes wish your seizure killed you when you were 2 years old. I'm a waste of sperm apparently. Not sure what else they're doing with their sperm but. Okay. Edit. This is my most liked comment. Dad, when I was about 10, if I kill you, I can make another one just like you and no one will notice. My parents divorced when I was young and they hate each other. My mom would call me my dad's name when she was really upset. What makes it worse is that I confided in her that I never wanted to be like my dad. She used that ammunition against me. In 7th grade, I was learning how to write better poetry thanks to an awesome teacher. I was so proud of a collection I made, so I let my mom read it. She asked me, "Do you need to be put in a mental asylum?" I was so upset, and as I was growing up, I didn't share any of my art with people, regardless of the medium. Even now, I still hear how serious she was when she asked me that. 20 years later. Why do you never show me any of your work or tell me about your feelings? My mother said lots of things like that. I'll just talk about one of the most memorable. While I went to go inside the corner store, she stayed behind in the car. Outside the store was a kid that had a crush on me. He grabbed my ass and I bitched him out. My mother saw all this. In the following days and weeks she basically accused me of being a slut, implying that I somehow invited it. She tried convincing my father of this, told her coworkers about it. Everything except being a mom, infuriated that someone touched their daughter like that. The only reason I had kids is to serve me. I only wanted one boy and one girl. Bitch had 3 boys. Parents who view their children as nothing more than property are the worst kind of parents. She told me I was acting just like my father when I would get upset. I would just get kinda pissy and sulk. He would go on rampages and scream and hit and throw things. He pushed her down the stairs once. I would never lay a finger on my current partner. The worst part is I look just like him. I was wondering if my mother always expected me to turn into my dad. I prove her wrong every day. Edit. Thank you to everyone who shared their own stories. It's good to know I'm not alone. Also, to the people suggesting I had previous partners I would actually abuse. I can understand the wording could have been better, but how dare you? My father said to my mother when she finally left him, "The only one of the 3 kids that has done any good is the middle one. I'm surprised that the other 2 aren't in jail." I was an only child and lonely. When I asked for a sibling, the response was, "If you want to know why we don't have more kids, go look in the mirror." Wholesome twist. You were so perfect that your parents realized they didn't need anything more in life than you. You're too goofy. Guys don't want to date a girl who's funnier than they are. Not exactly an insult, I guess, but it did stick with me. When I was 10 years old, my mum once said, "If I could go back in time and make sure I never gave birth to you, I would in a heartbeat." Never forgot it. Talked to her about it a couple of times years later and her responses ranged from, "That never happened," to, "Oh yeah, and I suppose I'm just the worst mother ever," and finally, "Yeah, but I didn't mean it. You know that, messed me up though tbh." Another one was, older sibling. Was the only child we actually planned for. The rest of you were accidents. I don't think it was intended as an insult, but being told your entire existence was an accident as a child kinda stung. The ol' narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen, and if it did, it wasn't that bad, and if it was, that's not a big deal, and if it is, it's not my fault, and if it was, I didn't mean it, and if I did, you deserved it. Not me, but a friend after her dad had died. She told her mom that she missed her daddy. I say daddy because she was roughly 8 at the time. You miss him so much? If you ever say that to me again, I swear I'll chain you to his gravestone. You sound like a pig under a gate. I was 10 and working to expand my vocal range. To this day, I stop singing when others are around. The one that lives rent-free though is, now, find someone else to take care of you. Thanks for the help, I guess. I think I was like 2nd grade and my dad called me manipulative. TBF, kids that age are manipulative. But it's probably not something they should be told directly. Just need to gently teach them differently. You will never amount to anything in life.